We want to get right to that fast-moving story, the coronavirus pandemic. Look at these pictures from U.S. airports overnight. Long lines of travelers awaiting medical screenings after arriving home from European countries. Some wondering whether the lack of social distancing here might just make things worse.
That is a huge question. And speaking of Europe, more countries over there now taking drastic measures. Spain locking down its 46 million citizens, just as Italy has recently done. And in France, they have now shut down the Louvre, the Eiffel Tower, and all of their fabled cafes and restaurants.
Here are the latest numbers overnight. Globally, more than 156,000 cases of the coronavirus and nearly 6,000 deaths. Here in the U.S., nearly 3,000 cases and 59 deaths, including the first here in New York City. We have team coverage this morning from New York to Washington, D.C. to London. And that's where we start with ABC's Julia McFarland. Good morning, Julia.
Good morning, Eva. That new travel ban announced by the White House sparked chaos at European airports this weekend and massive crowds at airports in the U.S. overnight as Americans try to find ways to rush home. This as more European countries and some of the biggest tourist destinations locked down their public spaces. Overnight, chaos at Chicago's O'Hare Airport as passengers return home from Europe. Thousands of travelers left standing in a crowd for hours, shoulder to shoulder, waiting to be processed through new enhanced COVID-19 screenings.
Through customs and then another line to CDC where I had my temperature taken.
Calling the crowds unacceptable, the governor of Illinois slammed President Trump and Vice President Pence, tweeting, "You need to do something now." Starting at midnight tonight, the U.S. is banning travel from the United Kingdom and Ireland. The number of travel-restricted countries in Europe rising to 28.
Again, Americans in the U.K. or Ireland can come home. Legal residents can come home, but as the Secretary will detail, they will be funneled through specific airports and processed.
This increased travel ban comes as most of Europe, now defined as a hot zone, goes on lockdown. Spain ordering 47 million residents to stay at home for at least 15 days. The wife of Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, along with two Spanish officials, testing positive for the virus. In France, popular restaurants, bars and theatres are shut down. Reports claiming roughly 300 patients in critical condition, nearly half under the age of 50. In Italy,
for the most part, Italy is a ghost town. There is nobody outside in downtown Rome in any of the major monuments. The Trevi Fountain, the Spanish Steps, absolutely empty.
Only grocery stores, pharmacies and banks are open. Cases of COVID-19 in the country saw its biggest daily increase yet. And with the death toll now rising to more than 1,400, authorities are pointing to irresponsible behavior by residents still socializing despite the lockdown. And this devastating video from a small town north of Milan shows a man flipping through 10 pages of obituaries in a local Italian newspaper. And the UK and Ireland are now added to that travel ban. Americans coming home from here will not be affected, but they will have to quarantine for 2 weeks when they get home. These details covered in a phone call between President Trump and Prime Minister Boris Johnson last night. Eva?
All right, Julia McFarland for us.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.